It's time to work on the candles for our Pumpkins and Potions quilt. For the candles on page 37 and 39, I have all fabric backed with the fusible interfacing, and I have the batting. And from the embellishment packet, I will be using this glitter yellow vinyl. That will be for the flames. Let's get started. I've opened Embroidery Essentials, and I am going to merge 2 candles into one hooping. One candle will be for section 4 and the other for section 5. While I'm putting the candles in the same hooping, I am not color sorting or joining them together. I will run each block one at a time. The first thing I will do is select the Preferences folder and change the hoop size to 7 by 12. Then I will select the compass and H to zoom in to the entire hoop. Let's start with candle 1. You can open the files by going to Merge Stitch File on the top right toolbar. I'm going to open my Pumpkins and Potions folder, and then I will open the Quilting Bundle folder. This block uses Halloween 8 and block by block, and I need the 4 by 6 size. I will drag and drop it into the hoop. Now I will go to get the candle. I will go back to the Embroidery Files folder and select Candle 1 and drag and drop it into the hoop. I mentioned earlier that I am not going to color sort these blocks, but I do need to make several changes. I'm going to come to the right hand side and expand or open the steps. For the background quilting, the first step is the placement for the batting, and that is a step that I need. The second step is the tack down. I cut my batting to size, so this is a step that is not needed. The third step is the placement for the background fabric. With Kimberbell, they have you cut fabric that is much larger, so this is a step that's not needed. Then the fourth step is the tack down of the background fabric, and we do need that. So I am going to select step 2, hold my shift key down, select step 3, and hit delete on my keyboard. So now I have the placement for the batting, the tack down of the fabric, and the quilting. There is one more change I'm going to make, and that is with the candle. I will open up the steps, and if you see the very last step, there is a placement line that is not stitched in the pattern. It just has to do with placing the candle into the center of the hoop. This can be skipped right at the machine, but I am in software, so I will select this step and hit delete on my keyboard. I've mentioned before that the changes that I make in the software are completely optional. You don't have to do any sort of changes in software or even use software. You can take your designs straight from your USB onto your machine without using software at all. Now this block is complete, so I am going to Command A on my Mac to select the design, and I am going to rotate it to the left, and I am going to move it to the top to get ready to bring in the next candle. I will open my folder, and I am going to go back to the quilting bundle, and this next candle uses Halloween 10 and the 4 by 6. I will drag and drop that into the hoop. Then I will go back to the embroidery files and drag and drop candle 2. I will make the same changes to the quilting and the candle. I am going to close up the first candle steps, and I will open 3 for the quilting. I will select step 2, hold my shift key down, select step 3, and hit delete on my keyboard. Then I will open up the candle steps. I will select that last placement line and hit delete. Now I need to select this second candle. I can't Command A because it would select everything, so I am just going to drag a selection box around that second candle and the quilting and rotate to the left, and then use my arrow keys to move it down. And this leaves enough space for the overlapping fabric not to get caught in the stitching of the block. I will save this file by going to File, Save Stitch File As. I will name the block. I will save it in my Combined Files folder. And I can add it to my USB so I can take to my machine. I will go to Embroidery and to my USB and to my Combined Files folder. And I will select the candles and hit Set and Embroidery. Now the last hoop that I used was my 9x14, so I will go up to the settings and I am going to change to the 8x12. I have actually the 7x12 in my machine, but in the settings I do not have a 7x12, I only have an 8x12. So I will hit OK. I will go ahead and go to Layout and Move, and I will move these up and to the left, up so that I can just save as much stabilizer as I can, and to the left so that I can just compensate for having a little bit smaller hoop than my machine is set for. And then I will select OK. I like to go to the plus minus needle, so that brings up the arrows if I need to skip or go back and shows me what I will be stitching. I will be doing one candle at a time, so let's start with this top, candle 1. And I'm not sure that I mentioned this when I was showing the Embrilliance Essential software. The reason I didn't color sort is because even though these candles have the same steps, they use different colors. There is a light background and the candle uses a dark thread, and then there is a dark background, and so I would have to change threads anyways, so there's really no point in color sorting. That's why I'm doing each one separate. The directions for candle 2 say to do the satin outlining in the shadow color, and I think that's too dark. It kind of blends into the background. So I am going to go ahead and use the cashmere thread that matches this tan color for the candle. I am so glad that I used this cashmere for the candle. I think it looks so much better. Here is the candles from the book. Here is the first one, which looks great. It's a, you know, black candle with the black satin outlining, and it's a nice candle. And if you look at this one on our polka dot fabric, it used the shadow, which is a very dark thread, and look how skinny and, I don't know, kind of wimpy that candle looks. I think it looks much, much better with the satin outlining the same color as the candle. So I'm glad I made that choice. This candle, and I am going to trim the vinyl the very last step. This candle, it's hard to see because of the black quilting, is a background quilting that goes into the seams. So we took out the basting, which was right along this seam right here. I'm not sure you can see it. Then the inside, you can see where the batting ends. That's where we normally cut our stabilizer. But this quilting is a stitch right down the center. So we will cut it close to that center line. Again, we'll have a little bit left in the seam allowance, but we'll get as much as we can out. I do want to mention one more time that I am glad that I did not do this outline satin stitch in the shadow color. It was too dark and it made the candle look just super skinny and kind of wonky. So I am so glad that I chose to do a matching thread to the fabric. I love it. And cute little flames. And here is a close-up. Let's try to get the glitter. This vinyl was glittery. Super cute. And because I did not cut those to size and I just put the whole piece on, I have this extra piece that would have just been wasted because it would have just been cut in half and there wouldn't have been extra. So now I have this extra piece that I can add to one of my other quilts that I'm doing.